Hello, Detroit cricket lovers. Today is August 1st, and quickly the season is progressing very fast and no record is sustaining for more than a week. That's the state of Detroit Cricket League now. With that, welcome to the DCL Talk Show on DCL Radio, and I have a regular analyst Jesse and MT with me, and today's special guest is Vinoth Ganesh from Marcos. Before I welcome Glads, it of course they are doing a wonderful job in our league, but this week is special for Glads because now that is the team with most runs scored in an innings, and they just broke that record, which was created just a week ago by Raptors. So with that, let me welcome our analyst tonight. Welcome to the show, Jasneet.
Yep. Thank you, Jagan, and welcome all the listeners all across the world. And I think, yes, they say records are meant to be broken, but the kind of records that are now being created in DCL, I think that's absolutely amazing. And it's after a long time, I think, from the inception of Detroit Cricket League for the first time, we are into a stage where bat is dominating the ball. So it's a different flavor of cricket for the people who have been watching this league for long. But yeah, that's it is.
Okay, welcome to the show, MT.
Yeah, thanks again. I'd like to welcome all our listeners for yet another episode of this DCL Talk Show. And like we have been talking in the introduction rightly said, our records are just tumbling down. So last week we were just going gaga over the Raptors record score in an innings. It just, again, a beautiful performance by Glads. But we'll talk in more detail throughout the show. So welcome to the show.
Okay, now guest of the night, Vinoth. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for this opportunity. And this is first time I'm talking in the radio show. And thanks to listeners. And then we'll talk more about regarding Gladiators because they've scored against us. So I want to talk more about
Okay.
we'll talk about
That's a good good spirit is what I call it. And with that, just when we were all discussing about highest run scored in DCL, there is this game that we have seen. It's not the lowest total of the DCL, but yet, it's low as far as this season is concerned. And also with this ball, I think this is the lowest one after changing the ball to 1-2-8. Your thoughts, MT? Safari versus Risers.
Yes, Jagan, I think we should have started with the Glads game for this show, but again, like we are talking about extreme contrasting situations here. One game we are talking about 250 plus runs, and this other game, Safaris versus Risers, it ended up in a dud actually. So Safaris is struggling. We have seen that throughout the season, and I think it's not getting any better for them. And this game actually proves that point. So Safaris, they won the toss. They elected to bat, did the right thing there, but they just got bundled out for 19 runs, which is absolutely not done for them, because 19 runs. If you look at the fall of the wickets, at one stage they were 15 for 1, and from there they just got all out for 19 runs. So that just tells that there is no stability or there is no resistance in the batting of any sort. So they lost wickets in bunches. Like at the score of 15, they lost 2 wickets. At the score of 16, they lost 4 wickets, and then at the score of 19, they lost 3 wickets. So it's just, again, like taking nothing away from the Risers bowlers though, but again, Safaris could have done much better, at least to put up a decent show. But I think it was just some brilliant bowling from Risers bowlers. Sandeep Reddy, pick of the bowlers, picking up 5 wickets for 4 runs, and then well supported by the other 2 bowlers, picking up 3 wickets and 2 wickets each. So it was they all they needed was just 3 bowlers, and they could wrap up the whole Safaris batting. So once you got that kind of score, it was just going through the motions in the second half. So I think Risers absolutely dominated this game from the beginning to the end, and well deserved 5 points. So not much to talk about in this game, but I think Safaris, if they have to create any kind of impact or any kind of get some confidence, I think they need to bat well first, because I think that is more important now, looking at the score lines of other games. So batting is the key here, I think. So
Yeah.
hopefully they learn from their mistakes and come back.
Sorry, I missed the last line. Can you repeat that?
No, I said, like, hopefully they learn from their mistakes and put up some decent performances with the bat, and then at least give their bowlers a chance to kind of perform. So
Yeah, last week I went to umpiring in Canton. By the time that game started, this game ended. Okay, I think this one was 8 o'clock game. The Canton one is 9 o'clock game. So it ended that quickly.
It's very unfortunate that teams travel long distances also to play an entire game, but then again, like, this kind of disheartens the players and the umpires also. So hopefully we'll get some good games. Safaris, I think they should be able to come back. So they have a good team. They can do it.
Let's hope for the best, and let's quickly get into our next game, Marcos versus Gladiators, where records were broken. And we have their best bowler, Marcos' best bowler, today as our guest to walk us through this game.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
So, yeah, first of all, congrats to Gladiators. Actually, their batting order and bowling order awesome, and they are playing as like a professional players. So they came with a full strong team. I don't know, they don't have any other games, so everybody was shown up like they were unity, and they were supporting each and every batsman and bowlers. And I have been playing more than 20 years, but this is the game I never played against like this team. So I'm honest with you, when we are bowling, we were enjoying their batting. What a performance. They are playing like IPL game. So yeah. So overall, they've started very well in order to batting, as they gave each and every batsman supported other end batsmen. So they were unity. I can't compare their batting and their discipline bowling and the unity. The fielding was awesome. There is no mistake, and they were taking catch, each and every catch they are taking like 1 run needed, something like that. They were like we have lesson learned. So each and every point, it's like look like a IPL game, and it's highlights game. So I'm honest with you, we are not that. We are tough bowling team. We are very strong in the bowling, but their batting was like I cannot imagine. So their overall performance is excellent, and they like initially they started in terms of their target is 258. When they started batting, they planned very well, and they achieved 267. So it was overall a very good show, and we have a video also. They have recorded complete match video, and this is the where we need to learn each and every team, their discipline and the way they batted. I'm honest with you, this team should not play DCL. They were playing like I cannot imagine. We came with a very strong team, but we came with a very strong bowling order and batting order, but they I don't know, I don't have any words to say. So it was overall was very good, and they were disciplined. We learned a lot of things because we have lack of experience, and other end we dropped 9 catches. That was because of we are like we need more practice. We learned a lot of things from them. So overall, it was great performance from Gladiator. And
Okay.
congrats to Arjun and Aditya for well batting.
Yeah, very well summarized. Yeah, Gladiators in a different league actually. They are dominating with the bat and with the ball, week in week out. And the next game of the night is Raptors versus Rockers. Raptors also very.
Hey, Jagan, sorry to disturb. Can I just quickly go over some stats from this game, Glad's game?
Oh yeah,
if
sure.
it's okay.
Sure.
So, like last week when we were dissecting the game of Raptors, like looking at some of the stats, I think this game also had a lot of stats, staggering stats actually, to talk about. Raptors scored 23 sixers in their game, and Gladiators easily beat that by scoring 26 sixers in the entire innings. So that's a record for a game in DCL, I think. And the next point is like they had close to almost 2 century partnerships, one for the second wicket, 104 between Aditya and I think it was Ronak and Aditya, and then a 96 runs partnership of 46 balls for the fourth wicket between Arjun Ajbani and Hardeep. And the most amazing stat that I observed in this game was at the end of 17 overs, there were 138 runs. And in the last 8 overs, they scored 129 runs. So that's like 129 runs in 48 balls. And in that last 8 overs, there were only 4 dot balls. So every other ball was being hit for either a 6, 4, or being scored for runs.
Wow.
And they scored this 267 runs in spite of playing out 54 dot balls in their entire innings. So that means they only scored off 96 balls, the 267 runs.
Man, you're awesome. Very well explained about the game. Okay. The next game of the night is Rockers versus Raptors. And, at this time, and if I have to say, somebody who can compete with Gladiators is Raptors. They're also in a different gear, different mood now. Jesse, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean they are a very good team. We all know, but I would say yes, they can be competing against Glads, but I would say it's a little too early. Maybe it's there are other few teams which can compete actually on their given day. So it's shaping up to be a contest where these two teams are setting up the benchmark and other teams are trying to catch them up. And as we saw in the knockouts, also in the World Cup, also when it comes to the tension, anything can happen. But yes, far ahead. If you ask any of the two teams, I think top two would be Gladiators and Raptors at this point of time. Yes. Talking in particularly about this game, I think it was a decent performance with bat by Team Rockers actually. Up against a bowling unit which is very strong. We all know Manoj, Satya, and Kiran. So they had their task in their hands, and I think they would not have been that disappointed scoring 100. They are a very good unit, and I think Ganesh again made sure that there isn't too much of bleeding up front, and he being the one down batsman. But he was a virtual opener in this game because the Tejasvi was dismissed on the very first ball, and so he was there opening up the batting with Sarvesh and then stabilized the ship. And as is most often in the Rockers game, the highest scorer is again Sai Kiran Thota. I think one of the finest all-rounders going around in this league. And he again showed his value by scoring 20 runs off 28 balls. But apart from him, Ganesh and Rajashekhar, there wasn't any significant contribution. And on these three also, I think all three of these players would be disappointed that none of them could continue and score up to a score of 40 plus or 50. That would have taken their score to a much better competitive score. But 100 was anyways competitive. But I think the Raptors captain Amarendra, who had a great outing with the ball also when he had to bowl those 4 overs, again showed his worth, scoring 38 runs. And when you are opening partnership chasing a score of 100 is 42 inside 9 overs in almost 8 overs, I think the game is done and dusted almost, and the rest of the is almost a formality. And you need certain kind of players who actually realize that opponent is under tremendous pressure, and this is our situation to dominate. And I think they tried going after a few of the bowlers, which resulted in a couple of wickets, but they did not leave their plan of making use of their good opening stand that they got. And I think Sri Teja, he is a centurion from the last game. He is in sky high confidence wise, and he made sure that there isn't any comeback for Rockers, and he scored those 36 runs with a strike rate of 200, including 3 sixes. So a disappointing outing for Team Rockers, but I think a much deserved victory for Team Raptors this time.
Okay, the next game of the night is Indus Bulls versus Mustangs. Okay, Indus Bulls dominated this game, is what I think. Your thoughts, Imti?
Well, Jagan, I don't know if it was a dominating effort or a one-sided game, but at least the scores, it looked like a competitive game. In last week's predictions, I think we were all predicting Indus Bulls to win, and rightly so. I think Indus Bulls won this game comprehensively, getting the 5 points, and much needed 5 points for them, I would believe. They batted first and scored 120 for the loss of 8 wickets in the entire 25 overs. And the main stays of the batting was Ravi, who came in as an opener, which is a little surprising for me. But again, like, I think he's been performing well with the bat this season. So, and then he also has scored. So it was a right move. He scored 25, and then he was well supported down the order by Nilesh, who scored 23 runs, and then Abhishek scoring 13 odd runs and 20 extras, adding up to the total. And the final score coming up to 120. And if you look at the bowling figures from Mustangs, it was a distributed effort, but the pick of the bowlers was Tanmay, who picked up 3 wickets in his 5 overs for 34 runs, a little bit on the expensive side, but I think he got the wickets there. And again, other bowlers also sharing some wickets. But I think 120, a decent score. And if you look at the fall of the wickets and the scorecard, it kind of looks evenly distributed. So that means the scoreboard was ticking, and there were some partnerships that had starts, and they could have gone for more. But I think the constant loss of wickets kept them to 120. And halfway through the game, Mustangs, it was a daunting task for them, because I think this year their batting is a little on the lower side. But their openers had a decent start. Satyaraj scoring 37 runs, and middle order Tanmay again chipping in with the bat, also scoring 22 runs. Apart from this, I think there was not much contribution from the other batsmen, and they ended up getting all out for 95 in the 24th over. So I think it was more of a scoreboard pressure in the chase, scoring 120 runs. The asking rate always creeps up when you play out some deliveries. So it's about keeping up with the run rate and getting rotating the strike when chasing a score like 120. It's not really impossible, but I think 120 with a very good bowling unit is always defendable. So that's what happened with Indus Bowls. And if you look at the Indus Bowls bowling figures, I think pick of the bowlers Sunil, who picked up 3 wickets for 13 runs, and also well supported by Ashwini. He also picked up 3 wickets. And I think it was a good bowling effort after the decent batting performance by Indus Bowls. A complete all-round performance, and I think rightly deserving the 5 points in this game. So
the next game of the night is FCC versus Altair. Altair, though it's a first-year team, I'm really impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, by looking at this scorecard. Your thoughts, Vinoth?
Yeah, so it's overall performance-wise, both teams did a very good job. First thing, congrats to FCC. Altair is their initial batting was not that. Opening partnership was not good, it seems to be, and then Varun was batted very good. Varun and middle order batsman Krishna did very good job. They scored 100 plus. It's a good tough score, but FCC initial opening batting partnership was very good. So this the first wicket they up to the last first wicket. After that, Amit and Karthik batting was excellent. It seems to be both opening. They haven't take wicket after that, so they got a good run. Like a first wicket, second wicket, they got 56 runs, and so their bowling was good. It's as you said, it's a new team. It's lesson learned for them, but it's a tough fight between both team, and FCC did very good.
Okay, the next game of the night is Legends versus SSK. Jesse.
Yeah, it was a good contest. Actually, I'm really impressed with the way Southfield Super Kings have actually played this season. They have made some real good additions into the team. I know a couple of guys who have been playing DCL. I know Vikas, he's an ex-Warrior player. He's a pretty handy off-spinner and a good batsman. Ramesh Babu, I think, has been playing for Dynamites for quite some time, and now he's playing for SSK. Similar is Philip Thomas. They are a good bunch of people who have actually made this team pretty tough on the field, and I think the results have also followed in quite a few games. Even in the games that they have not won, they have at least been competitive. So I think it's a great thing for the league and for SSK itself. Talking about this game, they scored 92 with valuable contributions from Arun Thinakaran. I think he actually, apart from him, there are not too many of the contributions that you can talk about, and it's understood also because Legends are a very good bowling unit with Madhu, Praveen, and Shrikant wasn't there, but Harish was still there. So they have a pretty good bowling attack. So and they made sure that the SSK were always on the back foot by dismissing their openers cheaply, and then they had to play the consolidating game. And until Arun came to the crease, they were pretty slow in the proceedings also. And after he changed the complexion of the batting of SSK, there was again no support down the order. So it was all the way like Arun show in the batting department, but a collective bowling effort in the from the Legends made sure that they are not crossing the above par or even not touching the par score. But you're always tentative when you're scoring scores, chasing scores like 90, 100. These are pretty tricky. These can be pretty tricky if you do not get to a good start, which their openers made sure that they did get. And what a contrast in some of the strategies. Madhu, I remember a couple of games back, was their number 11 and helped them reach a respectable score by scoring 2 or 3 sixes at the number 11. And he's just promoted right from the 11 to an opener. And I think in a quest of some fast, or you can say rapid start up the order, Madhu actually delivered. He scored 11 runs but took 18 balls. But I think what they did was to puncture the spirit of SSK. If you see the track record of SSK so far, they have been successful because their opening bowling combination of Manju and Philip or whoever has been bowling with Manju has done the early damage and made sure that the opponents are on the back foot right from the word go. But this game actually started absolutely in contrast because Rahul in the very first over took apart Manjunath for 2 sixes. And Manjunath, if I'm not wrong, is the left-handed bowler of SSK, who has a pretty impressive season so far. I don't know if he was injured or if it was just Rahul's attack, which forced the captain to not use him later on also. So he just bowled 2 overs. If he was not injured, I think after the dismissal of Rahul, SSK, in my view, missed a trick of not utilizing him again, because he's good. Everyone can have an off day, or even Rahul would have played played a couple of blinders and got those 2 sixes, but not utilizing your strike bowler, your bowler who has been delivering for you day in, day out. I think Manju would be disappointed both from himself and from the lack of trust if he was fit to bowl. But Venu, I think, stabilized the ship after Madhu and Rahul were dismissed, along with Moon Katula. I think Venu deservingly is man of the match in this chase because he bowled actually also his 5 overs, and he got a very good company of Moon, who is pretty stable technically. He has a great head over his shoulders, and he's one guy I've seen who always likes to deliver under pressure. So when the chase was getting a little tricky after Anant and Venkat got out cheaply, he made sure that he's there to take the game up to the very last, and he was unfortunate to be dismissed when the target was right in the sight. And after that, Praveen joined Venu and finished the game. So I think a great series of matches for legends where they are coming good as a group, but I don't think there's anything to be disappointed for Super Kings as they still have a lot of good games to go, and I think they can still make an impact and qualify for playoffs.
Before we go to our next set of games, if wickets are disturbed, and how do we, if the batsman is out, what is that a fielder has to do to run him out? Jesse or Imti, anybody can answer this one.
Yeah, as far as I know, if the wickets are on the floor, I mean, or just the bails have been dislodged.
Bails have been dislodged.
Yeah, so the ball has to be in the hand, and the wickets have to be uprooted from their base.
Uprooted. The definition of uprooted, you literally have to hold the wicket and lift it up. Am I correct?
Yes, I think yes.
Okay. So in this game, what happened was.
I think I haven't read it, but what I have seen on some of the instances, I think if you take the stumps down also, that would do the purpose. But yeah, so I'm actually confused, to be honest.
Yes, I'm also confused.
Actually, just to add, I think we briefly had a discussion about this on the Facebook group also, and the text is saying that it has to be uprooted, but again, like, there is no clear suggestion that it has to be uprooted with your hand. So the only understanding at the end of the statement is that the wickets have to be completely dislodged from the ground, and that is the only requirement for getting run out.
I think that makes sense. I think that
basically, even if you push that one, the wickets have to be completely out.
Yes.
So one wicket is enough, right?
Yes.
All three.
Yes.
No, I think
one wicket is enough.
One wicket is enough. Okay. So I mean, I've seen both. I mean, I read this definition of this one. Uprooting means you have to take the wicket out of the ground. Okay. So it can be, you can just pull that one so that it will come out. You can push that one so that it can come out. Anything is valid. Is what I'm.
Yeah, I think uprooting. Maybe the only reason why we have a misconception of it is because the wickets have to be dislodged completely. Players, just to make sure that the wickets are completely dislodged, actually hold the wickets and remove it from the groove. So, but the requirement is not to have it with the hand. You just have to dislodge the wickets. So I think only to make sure the fielders usually hold the wickets and uproot it from the groove. So.
Yeah, this confusion was there in the last game between SSK and Legends. It's a more confusion is there. I have seen videos of that one, but first of all, I felt umpire missed a no ball call there because even the bat reached the bat, so ball reached the bat. The wickets were disturbed by wicketkeeper, so that's that itself is a no ball. Is what I'm getting there. With that, let's get into our next game, Stingers versus Rising Stars. Give me 1 second, I missed the assignment. The next one is Stingers versus Rising Stars.
Yes, Stingers versus Rising Stars. I think this was another run fest, I would say. Stingers had a very good outing in this game, and they won this game comprehensively, I would say. Stingers won the toss. They elected to bat, scored 141 for the loss of 6 wickets in the quota of 25 overs. And I'm getting some disturbance. Is my voice audible?
Yeah. We can hear you. You're clear.
Okay. Yeah. So going into the they scored 141 for the loss of 6 wickets. I think the main reason for that 141 is some beautiful batting by their middle order. Raghu scoring 35 runs and Jagan scoring 67 runs not out. And what an innings this is! Like, he scored those 67 runs in 47 balls with 1 4 and 4 sixers. So Jagan has been doing well with the bat this season, and I think this is only uh, 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 a consolidation of his performances throughout the season, and it's kind of showing up results now. So, and on the other end, it is Raghu, who has been like Mr. Consistent for Stingers from one. And to be honest, I have never seen him bat, but all I have heard is people talking about him. And if uh, if anything, I think the way he's scoring runs consistently in every game, I think we can call him Mr. Consistent of DCL. And rightly so, he's on the top of the table in the runs scored also. So absolutely great to have players like this in your team and scoring consistently for you and performing game in, game out. So Stinger scoring 141 in 25 overs, thanks to those two batsmen. And if you look at the fall of wickets also, I think they had a partnership of 99 runs between them, Raghu and Jagan, and they got out in the 22nd over. The partnership broke in the 22nd over. If they were together, maybe they could have scored another 10-15 runs extra. But I think 141 was more than enough if you look at the result of the game. Rising Stars, their bowling performance was decent. Only a couple of bowlers had less than 6 runs per over economy. Every other bowler going for more than 6 runs per over. And I think Rising Stars, to be honest, they started off well in the season, but slowly fizzling down. And I think this game actually dented their chances to make it to the playoffs. Chasing that 141, they scored only 108 for the loss of. They got out for 108 in 23 overs. If you look at the batting scorecard, there are a couple of starts, double-digit scores, but again, nobody went on to carry their innings and make some statement in the chase. And also the top order, I think, needs to step up in chases like this. For any team, if they're chasing 130, 140, their top four, one of them has to perform. So that has to be the key in chases. So, like I said, they got all out for 108 in 23 overs. And I think Stingers, once they had that 140 runs on the board, they just had to be disciplined, and the scoreboard pressure would bring the wickets automatically. So that's what happened here. Almost every bowler getting a couple of wickets. And I think pick of the bowlers was Chetan, who picked up 3 wickets in his 5 overs. And there is no man of the match awarded, but I think I would give it to Jagan for his beautiful batting, 67 not out in the game. So congrats, Stingers. And
no, he's hard luck. Jagan is the captain, so he did not put anybody there. Yeah, please go ahead. I stopped.
Yeah, I think that's about the game. So yeah, like I said, I think this will really hurt Rising Stars for their playoff chances. Even though Stingers is kind of coming back in the second half of the season, I think it is very difficult task ahead of them. I think Stingers need to win all of their games to make it to the playoffs. So it's kind of interesting, but like the playoff chances being affected because of this game for sure for both the teams.
Okay, the next game of the night is Dynamites versus Blues.
Yeah. So I think Blues are new team, right?
Old team.
Old team. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Blues batting was initially they were struggling, and it seems to be the top order batsmen even they are struggling. But in bottom like Nahim Khan, he played very good. So he scored like still that is 72 is a not bad score. But Dynamite's bowling was excellent. The top order bowling was Dynamite's. They're bowling like Arun, Avinash. They're very good bowlers. So overall, their bowling performance is phenomenal. And then we can see they're like bowling is strong, and then Blues bowling also very good. So they are almost initial the Dynamite's batting was good. Initial opening partnership was good. That helped to them, and after that they keep losing the wicket. Still, their Blues shown up their strength. The bowling strength is good, and the overall both team played well and concurs to Dynamites.
Okay, the next game of the night is MCC Miles versus Tamil Pasanga. Jesse, your thoughts?
Yeah, a very, very close game. A game of fine margins, and I think MCC Miles did just enough to win this game. So batting first, MCC Miles had got off to a not so great start. Manish was dismissed cheaply, but I think Ajay, the season campaigner for MCC Miles, along with Brahma, stabilized the ship. Not just stabilized, but scored at a brisk rate. But after their dismissal, I think the middle order crumbled, and when Sanjay would have been dismissed of the very first ball, which is not a regular sight, MCC Miles would have felt the pressure. But then comes the helping hand of Rahul Chenna. I think he's been part of MCC Miles unit for quite some time now, and he has played some valuable knocks. But these are one of the knocks when you play when nobody's there to support you, but still you made sure that you did enough to put up a decent score, and when your team is able to defend that, there's no better feeling going back to your home thinking that you actually contributed in the winning cause. So I think had it not been for Rahul, I think MCC Miles would have been very, very disappointed because I don't think they were getting anywhere near to 60, 70 also. So great knock by Rahul Chenna, but nothing else to talk about in the batting department. But the good thing about the bowling of Tamis Pasanjay was the number of wides. They just gave 9 extras, 8 wides and a no ball, which to me is a rarity, because most of the times you can see a scorecard, and most of the times you'll find the team giving less extras is winning the game. So I think they did the basics right, but still lost the game because of one individual brilliance from Rahul in the batting department, and some good collective bowling from MCC Miles. They knew that they did not have too much of a score that they can be complacent about. They knew that they had their back on the walls, so they had to come back strong. But Narain, I think, held one, and till the last, he was playing beautifully. Actually, had a great partnership with Yash also. But it's a victory from a come from behind victory for MCC Miles, actually, to break that partnership, and then making sure there is no big partnership which could be threatening to take the game away. And the game was open right till the end, but some decisive bowling by Sanjay, giving just 14 runs off his 5 overs, taking 3 wickets, and rest 4 bowlers contributing with a wicket each, and some tight fielding, giving them the couple of run-outs. I think did a lot of good to MCC Miles, but I still think this is far away from a comprehensive performance by MCC Miles. But to win games like these actually gives you a lot of confidence about that if need be, we can defend a smaller total also. And I think Tamis Pasanjay would be a very, very disappointing unit, because this game was theirs to win, and it slipped away from them slowly, and I really feel for them.
Okay, the next game of the night is FCC Agni versus Panthers. This is the game where Panthers dominated, and I umpired this game. I gave one bad decision, that is Rahul Lavate LBW. Okay, that LBW I've given after only for leg umpire walked up to me and said there was a bat involved in that one. So all I could do was request the opposite captain to call him back. Unfortunately, Ramesh did not accept, and he said, he's not calling him back. So I had no other option but to say sorry to batsmen and their captain. Okay, with that, your thoughts, Vinod? FCC Agni versus Panthers.
Yeah, Panthers it seems to be a very good team in our side. So their batting order is good, and then the initial opening partnership was good, and as you said, Rahul wicket, right? Okay, so if you would have not given, that score would have been more than 150 plus. So the overall batting performance, they were good, and their like FCC Agni bowling was not bad, but if you see that economy, it's more than 6 plus, so they have to bowl very well, and then their batting was, I see, only single digit, but the overall they have to focus on their batting, and the overall like a Panthers bowling was awesome, and then I can see the all-rounder performance. Suraj, he bowled very well as well as he batted very good, and then what is his name? I forget that name. Okay, so their overall batting order is good, and then bowling also very good. So the overall Panthers played very good. And only thing is, I would recommend FCC have to learn some lesson from them in terms of batting and bowling. So I would say they're like a Panthers is a little tough team, but FCC Agni, they have to come with a very good batting, and keep losing wicket. That's not good for the team. And then their bowling is okay. And other than that, so yeah, overall it's good. And Panthers played very good, and concurs to Panthers.
Okay, the next game of the night is Dark Horses versus Blazers. Your thoughts, Imti?
Yes, Jagan. I think this game again kind of ended up to be a one-sided game. To be honest, I think Dark Horses is struggling in this season with a lot of player issues. I would say. I think we are seeing a lot of new players coming in every game for Dark Horses, so they don't have a settled unit, I would say. And also looking at the scorecards and performances of Dark Horses, it's just one-man show throughout the season so far. Even in this game, it turned out to be the same. Dark Horses, they won the toss, they elected to bat, and it was only one man in the batting, Pankaj, their captain, who scored 44 runs, and then the rest of the batting scorecard looks very, very weak actually. So there were like at one stage the score was 37 for 9, and thanks to that last wicket partnership between Pankaj and Anoop, they scored 34 odd runs for the last wicket, and that gave them some decent respectable score of 71 in the allotted 25 overs. So if you take out that last wicket partnership or Pankaj score, it was hardly any score on the board for Dark Horses in this game. I think again, like it was the scoreboard thanks to some good disciplined bowling by Blazers bowling unit, and myself, I got like 4 wickets in 5 overs, and then Naresh, who had a beautiful spell in this game, his bowling figures read 5 overs, 3 maidens, 3 runs, and 3 wickets. So it was just like disciplined bowling and picking up wickets at regular intervals, and that led to the downfall of Dark Horses for 71. Chasing 71, Blazers just got off to a flying start. Their openers made sure that they didn't go into any shell. They just started quick scoring, and even though they lost some wickets in the process, but I think once they got that quick start, it was like just going through the motions for completing the chase of 71. They finished their chase in 12 overs, and if you look at the bowling, not much. Pankaj was the only serious threat in the bowling, but again, he had to pull out due to an injury after 3 overs. So after that, the rest of the bowlers were like normal, not any threat to the Blazers batting unit. So eventually, it was an easy win for Blazers. Got 5 points in the kitty, and looking good for the rest of the season.
Okay, the next game of the night is MI Rangers versus Strikers. I would call this one as game of the weekend. Your thoughts, Jesse?
Yep, absolutely, and not just because of how it ended score-wise, but how it ended emotion-wise also, it has to be the game of the week. Luckily, I got to know the 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 last couple of overs uh, from the one of strikers players, Kishore, while we were playing a Michigan Cup game. So uh, what he told me was pretty uh, fascinating, because the way it was going, it was already tight. But when emotions get involved in a game, when both sides now have extra reason to win it because they want to prove something, when there are confrontations, I think it becomes all the way. Though they everyone should know what's the line, and but it's actually very fine margins. So sometimes in the heat of the moment, you don't realize that you're crossing the line, and that's not for the league, that's not for the game, that's not good for the sport in itself. So coming back to detail of the scores, MI Rangers batted first, scored a healthy score of 117, and they know that they are a very, very good bowling and a fielding side. So they must have thought that we are pretty comfortable defending this. We just have to do our basics right, not give too many extras, and not and bowl not too many boundary balls. If ones and twos might not be what uh, strikers would be able to pull this victory off with the help of. So, uh, but strikers actually did pretty decent in the batting department and were always in the game. And when it comes to almost run a ball, or even 8 to 10 runs and over in the last 2-3 overs, it's just about swinging, and it's just about handling the pressure at the being a bowler, and anything under the bat can disappear if you have a good swing. So I think Abhilash, to go up front in the batting department of MI Rangers, Abhilash, I think he has been pretty consistent for MI Rangers, along with a couple others, Aditya and Venkat and Ifti I don't think was playing this game. So Abhilash scored those 26 runs, and apart from the fact that Radang, Naveen, and Vamsi were all dismissed for a duck, uh, when Aditya joined Abhilash, they kept on scoring at a decent rate and stabilized the ship, and then had to depend on Shravan and Anush in the death overs to pull off something miraculously to make them a respectable total. But I completely understand the approach Abhilash and Aditya took, because they had to consolidate. They just could not be going for the glory shots even after losing 3 wickets, and because in the quest of that, you might get to 150 sometimes, 140 sometimes, but there are also chances that you would dismiss under 50. So I think a very good approach of mixing aggression with caution, and I think Anush proved their strategy right when he scored those 27 of just 10 balls in the death overs, hitting those 3 sixes and a 4. Uh, so, but a great bowling effort until Anush spoiled some of the figures for team strikers. Adit taking 3 wickets, and others also chipping in with valuable contributions in the bowling. In the batting department, Kishore felt cheaply, but Parag was holding one end, and he did not get much of help after in the middle order, with Shreyas, Vamsi, Nikhil, Vivek all got off to some starts but dismissed in the single-digit scores. And then he was joined by his captain, and then they stabilized the ship. And I think it was the moment when Kapil got dismissed. So he just vented out in disappointment, and he what I was told, he was talking to himself, and that's pretty normal. We all do that. In frustration, you sometimes look at the ground, or just try to tell yourself that you have done the wrong thing, and you sometimes say those abusive words. But I think one of the uh, players from MCC Miles thought that Kapil Chaudhary was actually swearing at him, so that led to a confusion, and Rahul Nikam actually got a little aggressive in a conversation with the guy from MI Rangers, and it got a little heated up. And it was when the last over, when 10 runs were required, and then Adit Manurkar then hit a 4 and a 6 on the fourth and the fifth ball of the over to win it, and then it was all drama. All the strikers players were on the wicket, and it was a celebration to be seen, as far as I've been told. So a great game of cricket with emotions, as well as the cricket, the game, the sport was actually there because of the tightness of the game, because of the great end to it. And I think it's again the game of fine margins, and Adit Manurkar proved that it's not over until it's over. So congratulations to strikers for beating a very, very good team in MI Rangers.
Okay, a new rivalry, start of new rivalry. Okay, let's get into next set of games. Knockers versus Kings 11. Knockers have come with a very good team, yet I feel like they struggled in this game. Your thoughts, Vinoth?
Yeah, so I know Knockers team. They are very strong team. I don't know. So the overall performance, it seems to be it's a equal fight between Kings 11 Detroit versus Knockers. So I don't see this the best performance from Knockers team. But still, their batting, like Kings 11, their batting initially they were struggling, and Vamsi was like played very good. He played an awesome innings, because I see the 55 balls, 29 runs, and 35 balls dart. So this is the crucial. He played awesome. This is the most important thing every team need to learn from this, because when the one side is wicket, they keep losing the wicket, but he's holding the somehow he managed to score 30 runs, and then they got 85 runs. And then their like Kanaka's overall bowling was excellent, but it is not up to the mark what they have previous tournament score bowling strength. I feel that. And then batting, the Knockers batting was initially they were struggling, and Patel and so Praveen and Patel, they played very well, and then they somehow they managed, but it was very good fight. They won like 21st over. So it's a good close game, and Kings 11 they tried, they played very good. I feel that, and then Knockers won. So congrats to Knockers, and yeah.
Okay, the next game of the night is Indus Thunders versus Pokeries. We thought this will be a nail biter. Unfortunately, Pokeries dominated Indus Thunders. Into your thoughts?
Yes, Jagan, I think during last week's predictions, we were touting this to be the showcase game of the week, and it was a replay of the finals from 2017 season. I think Pokeries eventually got the sweet revenge in this game. They completely demolished Indus Thunders, I would say. Indus Thunders won the toss and elected to field, surprisingly. So maybe some kind of strategy that they wanted to adapt, but it kind of completely backfired on them. Pokeries batting first, scored 106 runs for a loss of 7 wickets, played out the entire 25 overs. I think it just looking at this total score, it kind of looked below par for the batting might that Pokeries have. Like 106, and Indus Thunders would have been really happy in the halfway mark of the game. If you look at the details of the batting scorecard, a couple of good performances by their opener Saran Raj, scoring 21, Neil scoring 20 runs, and then Ranjit Palaniswamy scoring 33 runs not out, kind of giving that quick, rapid score in the V end of the innings. I think that 33 from Ranjit helped them cross that 100-run mark and give them that decent total. If you look at the bowling figures for Indus Thunders, it was an evenly distributed bowling scorecard, I would say. Most of the bowlers picking up wickets, but I think pick of the bowlers was Vijay, who picked up two wickets in his 5 overs quota for 11 runs. Like I said, again, halfway through 106, Indus Thunders would have definitely fancied their chances, because they have a very good batting unit also. So they started off cautiously, I would say, and I think Avinash Raghu had a brilliant game in this contest. He picked up some crucial wickets, and I was just looking at the fall of the wickets, and Indus Thunders lost 4 wickets on the score of 7. So they were like 7 for 0, and then they dropped down to 7 for 4. And then again at the score of 16, they lost 3 wickets in a bunch. And then eventually that wickets just kept falling, and they eventually got bundled out for 36. So what this tells me is like they just lost wickets in bunches, and that doesn't really give any kind of momentum to the chase. And once the top order is back in the hut, it's really difficult for the middle order or the lower order to kind of give a momentum to the chase, or give like to take that chase forward. Again, like some beautiful bowling from Pokeries bowlers, everybody getting wicket, chipping in with wickets. But I think, like I said, Avinash had a brilliant game. 3 overs, 2 maidens, 2 runs, and 3 wickets. That just kind of broke the backbone of Indus Thunder's batting unit. And again, like I was kind of assuming that maybe Indus Thunders missed some players, but if I look, like there was everybody that we know, like how Indus Thunders, like we have everybody in their lineup, but still they end up getting all out for 36. It might be really disappointing for Indus Thunders, because they could have made a good game out of this, defeated a good side like Pokeries, and could have gained that much needed confidence when nearing the playoffs. But I think this is a good lesson. Good thing for them is that it happened in the league stages, and this will be a good learning opportunity, and can rectify their mistakes going forward into the playoffs. So hard luck Indus Thunders, but I think I'm definitely sure that they'll come back very strong. And I think Pokeries deserved the win with the way that they performed, and absolutely got those 5 points. So that helping them again to kind of increase their standings in the pool.
The next game of the night is KRCC versus Lions. Again, it's the he'll kill me if I say this one. The face of Gladiator. Once the face of Gladiators, Maulik Patel, performed wonderfully for KRCC to give a great win. Your thoughts, Jesse?
Yeah. So and when you said that, I imagine Maulik still playing for Gladiators, and I they're already having headache who to play, who to not, because they have such a strong unit. But yeah, all credit to Maulik in this game. He scored 78 runs with the help of 7 sixes and 3 fours. He's as I've said, I think a couple of times in this season earlier, he's now a very mature player. When you see a player like Maulik playing 63 balls, you can make that he's onto something. He was never this good to realize that he doesn't have to hit every ball, but I think he's now materializing his talent with the performances, and that's great to see. It's great for the league. It's great for KRCC, and unfortunately, he did not get too much support from the top order apart from Kundan, and then Omkar giving him some support, scoring 15 runs and scoring those with a 4 and a 6. But even after Maulik's blazing innings of 78, they could not finish their quota of overs. They were all out inside 23 overs. They could score 137 only. I say only because if one of the guys have scored 78 for you, you just need some guys even to score those 30, 35, 40 runs, even with 50 strike rate, and you would cross 150, 155 very easily. But that was not the case. So I think they must be pretty disappointed with 137, because I think they had the batting lineup with Sahesh, Vihar, Satish. They bat pretty deep. So, but they knew that they have enough on the board to trouble Lions. But I think a lot of credit has to go to Lions also. After leaking 137 after Maulik's onslaught, they still were able to come back and give a very, very good fight to KRCC. We have seen KRCC not letting teams like Pokeries and GLCC get off the hook in their bowling department, because they are a good unit. But credit has to be given to Lions for being in the game all the time. And when your captain leads from the front, it makes a world of difference to the team. and Natraj, after a long time, actually performing with the bat to his up to the mark with his talent. He scored 38 runs, a typical Natraj innings where a lot of running is done, where ones and twos are playing the major part, but he did not get too much of support up the order. But he actually, Sandeep Reddy, Tumuri, uh, tried to try to steal the game away from KRCC in the death overs, and he scored those 33 runs in 23 balls with 263 fours. I think they had their moment, and I think KRCC, looking at the scorecard, must be under tremendous pressure, thinking that they might lose this game. But Ronak P. Patel, uh, as a magician he is, he got both the batsmen who were looking good, and to get the settled batsman out, it's a no mean feat actually, and the credit has to go to Ronak. He's one of the very few bowlers who can actually bowl at a consistent spot for most of their deliveries. He's very consistent. He has been for years, and I'm very happy to see KRCC making most out of him, because he this guy, I've seen, is a different kind of player when he's given confidence. And both Maulik and Ronak are doing their job and making KRCC win games, along with some of the wonderful guys that KRCC have. So kudos to KRCC for showing the team spirit, for winning the key moments. But I think Lions are improving day by day.
Next two games are rescheduled games because of the rain. The next one is Mustangs versus Altair. Altair, they played really well in the morning, only to lose to Mustangs in the evening. Your thoughts, Imti? Hello, Imti, are you there?
Again, yeah.
Okay.
So this game, I think it was, like you said, Mustangs. I think they won this game after the other debacle that they had against Indus Bolts. Altair, going into the details, Altair won the toss and elected to bat. They scored 82 for the loss of 10 wickets. Again, it's a decent score, but again, like not enough, I would say. If you look at the batting scorecard, the main scoring came very low down the order, a couple of double-digit scores, and then it looks like an okay score, because I don't see any big contributions there. But again, they ended up at 82. It is again like thanks to some good bowling from Mustangs, where the bowlers were very consistent and picking up regular wickets. Pick up the bowlers, Praveen Jaykumar, who picked up 3 wickets and in his quota of 5 overs, and rest of the bowlers also chipping in with wickets there. Mustangs, I think they had a good chance to get some confidence chasing down the score, but in the process they lost 8 wickets also. The chase was again successful, mainly thanks to Varshik Gowda and Praveen Jaykumar, who had a very good all-round game in this outing. They both scored 19 runs each and helped Mustangs cross the line in the 17th over. So again, like it looks like a comprehensive win, because they completed the chase in 17 overs, but again they lost 8 wickets, so it could have been a very close game. A margin very small, because 2 wickets could again have been on the other side, and the result could have been totally different. But again, all in all, I think a victory is a victory, and Mustangs would have really enjoyed this game, getting the points out of this by winning this, and they got the full 5 points with the bonus. So I think it was a good game for Mustangs in the end.
Okay, the last game of the night is MCC Miles versus Indus Thunders. After losing a game to Pokeries and also losing their captain to injury, they ended up winning in the evening game. Your thoughts, Vinoth?
Yeah, it seems to be close game, but I don't see Hindu Thunder's performance is up to the mark. But still, they won. Congrats. And MCC, in terms of batting, initially they were struggling, and middle order batsmen they played very good. Karthik, Jaykumar, and Rahul, they both are the key. So the batting overall it's okay. So they end up score 79. So that is not bad score. But still, Indu Thunder's bowling was like it was not up to the mark, but it's overall it's great. I mean, when you say the overall performance, bowling performance is good, it's less than 6 economic. And Indu Thunder's batting was initial batsman Manoj played very good, and then after they keep losing wicket and middle order batsmen they've deserved the victory. So the overall Indu Thunders, the middle order batting was awesome, and then their bowling was good. So MCC Miles, they are okay. I mean, in terms of bowling, but batting they need to improve. Initial partnership they need to improve, and then other than that, it's good performance and concurs to Indu Thunders.
Okay, with that we have concluded the regular season games, and let's quickly get into the predictions. The first game of the night is Detroit Bulls versus Panthers. I must say, Panthers captain Deepak is in the making of another star. He has at least 2 or 3 guys who can be these guys can be potential superstars of the league. With that, Jesse.
Yeah, I'll pick Panthers.
Imti.
I think with the current form, I would pick Panthers. Yes.
Vinoth.
Detroit Blues.
Okay, Bulls. You mean Detroit Bulls?
Yeah, Bulls. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Detroit.
Okay. The next game is Marcos versus FCC Agni. I'm not asking Vinod here because he plays for that team. I'll ask Jesse.
Yeah, I know FCC Agni is not giving results, but I still think they have the team to beat Marcos. I'll back them this game. I think Ramesh and his troop would come good.
Imti.
I kind of echo with the same sentiments as Jesse, because whenever Ramesh is down, I think he comes back very strongly in the next game. So I'll go with FCC Agni.
Okay, it's a challenge too, Vinod. So hopefully this will motivate your team. The next game is FHCC versus Mustangs. Tough one. Jesse.
I mean, I really find it hard when it comes to predicting game of FSCC because they are really unpredictable. But I think in the last few games they have given good results. I think they are more sorted in their performances. I'll go with FHCC.
Imti. Hello, Imti.
Oh, sorry, I was on the mute. Sorry. Yeah, I'll go with FHCC.
Okay, Vinod.
Yeah, Mustangs.
Mustang. Okay. Yeah. The next one is TCS Talents versus Kings 11. I'm thinking Kings 11 3-0. Any objections there?
Yep, Kings 11.
Yep. Kings 11.
Okay. The next one is Altair versus Legends. Legends 3-0. Any objections?
Yep, Legends.
Yep, Legends.
Okay. The next one is Falcons versus FCC. Okay, Jesse.
Yeah, I'll pick FCC actually. Falcons, they are pretty short of confidence. I am not too sure they know their best combination. I don't know, something's not giving me the right kind of vibe that I need to pick Falcons. And on the other hand, FCC, I think they are doing much better than Falcons. On paper, I would go with FCC.
Okay, Inky.
I think this game has a lot at stake for both the teams because it is an important, crucial juncture of the season where both teams kind of need wins from here on to qualify for the playoffs. That being said, I think this will be one of the showcase games of this week just because of the importance of the result for both the teams. So evenly matched at this point, I would just give slight edge to Falcons in this game.
Okay.
Just a hunch.
Falcons, okay. Vinod.
Yeah, Falcons. I see that.
Next one is Lions versus Thunders. Indus Thunders 3-0. Any objections?
No.
I hope no. The next one is Blues versus MCC Miles. Jesse.
I'll pick MCC Miles.
Imti,
Yep, MCC Miles.
Vinod.
Yeah, MCC Miles.
Okay, the next one is Brownstone versus Dynamites. What a tough one to predict. Especially when Brownstone is playing, it's very unpredictable. A team that is very tough to predict. Jesse.
I think this might be one of the best games of the week because of the strengths and weaknesses on both sides. If I take into account, I think this would go down as a very, very close game with Brownstone winning it.
Okay, Imti.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the game being a very closely contested one. I think another showcase game of the week. But I think Dynamites will cross the line. So Dynamites for me.
Okay. Vinod.
Brownstone.
Brownstone, very good. Okay. The next game, can Gladiators beat their own record they created last week? Jesse. It's Gladiators versus Knights.
Oh, jeez. I think yes, they can.
They can. Okay. Imti.
Yeah, to be honest, I think they won't have a better platform to just cross the line, create history. But again, back-to-back scores of the high-scoring games for them. I think Glads will win it with a big margin, but I don't think they'll be able to break the record.
Okay. Vinod, you think Glads will create another record?
No one will drop 9 catches except my team.
The other way of looking at it is
for us 12 overs they scored 83 runs. First 12 overs their score was 83 runs. After that they scored 200.
Okay.
So yep.
Yeah, I mean, anybody predicting century here from Gladiators? They're coming close, but they haven't.
Yeah,
No.
I really think.
Let me start with Jesse. I'll come to you, Jesse.
Yeah, I think if Aditya is playing this game or if Arjun is playing this game, I think one of these two guys or even Ronak can go on to score century in this game.
I doubt Arjun will play this game because probably this weekend is Corporate Cup, right?
Yeah.
I think
next week, right?
Oh, is it next week? Okay. Then we are good. Okay, so then we can definitely see some records. Mm-hmm. Okay. The next game of the night is Canton 11 versus Dark Horses. I think Canton 11 3-0. Any objections there?
No.
Knockers versus Indus Bowls. Knockers 3-0. Any objections there?
No.
Okay. GLCC versus Pokeries. Oh my God.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, Jesse.
I'll pick Pokeries. It has all the potential to be a very, very closely contested game, and I think Pokeries will win this one.
Imti. Actually, I call this one as 3-0 Pokeries.
Yeah, I think Pokeries for me too. Yeah.
Vinod.
Pokeries.
Okay. Troy Hawks versus KRCC. I'm think KRCC 3-0.
Yes, but
yes.
The way Troy Hawks have been performing, I don't think they are walkovers or they are a walk in the park. I think this match is on, but KRCC is a stronger unit than Troy Hawks. So yeah, KRCC.
Okay, and I think so too. Imti.
Yeah, I think the same. KRCC will end up winning, but it will be a closely contested game for sure.
Vinod.
Yeah, KRCC.
Okay, the next one is Safaris versus Bulls. I'm thinking Bulls will win this one.
Yeah.
3-0.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So Bulls have 2 games this weekend? Rescheduled?
Yeah, rescheduled. All the rain out games. Okay. The next one is Stingers versus GLCC. Jesse.
Wow.
Stingers, after scoring 140 last week, right? They scored 140.
Yeah, and more importantly, they have a couple of guys who have been performing almost every match. Jagan and Raghu have been backbone of their run scoring. And can they do it against a very good attack of GLCC? I would love to see them scoring decent. That will make the match interesting. But I see GLCC winning this one.
Imti.
Jagan, I'll skip the prediction. I might be umpiring the game, so.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Vinoth.
GLCC.
Okay. Then I think this is the next game is SSK versus Raptors. Though SSK can give a very good fight, I think the Raptors will win this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
3-0.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, then next game is Rising Stars versus Tamil Pasange. Rising Stars all the way. Any objections?
I think so. But, it can be a good game. Yeah.
Yeah, but last game they played very well. Tamil Pasanga. Probably they will be having little chance to win.
Fantastic. So you are saying Tamil Pasanga are going to win.
Yeah.
Imti.
No, it will be Rising Stars.
Rising Stars. Okay.
Okay.
The last game of the night is Blazers versus MI Rangers. I'm not asking Jesse. I'm not asking Imti. So Vinod will decide this one. Vinod.
I feel Blazer is best.
Blazers is the best. Okay. With that.
And one last comment, Jagan.
Yeah.
I just thought of when you asked who do you think would we see a century in Glad's game. I think we'll certainly see a century in this season. I'm predicting it has to be from Glad's, but I'm throwing another name. If Shan plays, I place my bet on Shan.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, with that, we have concluded tonight's show. We will close tonight's show with the last word from all our analysts. I'll start with Jesse.
Yep. I wish all the best to all the players and umpires involved into another interesting week of DCL. The good thing is there are no more washed out games. I think the committee is doing a great job in rescheduling those games so that nobody's cursing the weather and the rain gods in the end of the season that with the could haves and the should haves. It's great for the league, and I think it's a fair chance to everyone. All the best to everyone, and we'll see you here next week.
Okay, Imti.
Yes, actually a good point brought up by Jasneet. Actually, kudos to the committee for rescheduling the rained out games and giving a fair chance to all the teams involved so that they play all the games. And on that note, I would like to thank all our listeners for staying. Again, like we are running over the time every show, but I think it's because of our listeners who are tuned in all the time. So thanks to the listeners and all the best to all the playing teams this weekend, and may the best teams win.
Vinod.
Yeah, thanks for this opportunity, and it is nice. And the overall committee they're doing good, and the coordination between umpire and players. I feel this year I feel more comfortable playing DCL in terms of it's open discussion and overall team playing good, excellent compared to other last year. So this year a lot of records are broken. So all the best for all the team, and thanks viewers for listening this, and thanks for the DCL committee organizing this.
Okay, thank you all. With that, we will conclude tonight's show. Keep listening DCL Talk Show on DCL Radio. Good night.